This whole Africans versus African Americans conversation makes no sense because white people look at us as the same. You call African Americans ratchet. Well, white people look at your culture as ratchet and uncultured. So I don't know why you like to talk about African Americans as if you're any better than us. Because white people see us as the same, no matter how many times you try to act like you're better. And the same goes for African Americans that act like they're better than Africans.
Africans do not like Black Americans. So this is a fact.
No, it's an opinion, and a very asinine one at that. Because Africa is a continent with 54 countries and over 1.2 billion people. A statement such as Africans don't like African Americans is a very ludicrous statement because one, is perpetuating this narrative that there is beef and animosity between Africans and African Americans. And two, what that is doing is it's generalizing an entire continent based off of the actions of a couple of African hairdressers who live in America. And this is coming from someone who has traveled to 4 out of 54 of the African countries. Okay, so I went to Tanzania and I was treated like royalty. People were bowing at my feet. I felt like I was some type of long lost queen who had finally returned to the land. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana was one of the most beautiful countries that I ever visited. I had a family who opened up their home to me. They were feeding me 3 times a day. We were living by the beach. They were doing so much to just make me feel welcomed and loved. So this is for all of my African American people. Go to Africa. Go to the different countries that are there. Learn some of the languages, learn some of the cultures there, because this is the thing. There are more similarities than differences between Africans and African Americans. And we need to kill this narrative. We need to break the plane and start the conversation so that we can get to know each other and enjoy the beautiful continent that we call the motherland, Africa, Azania.
It is said that opinions are like noses, and each and every one of us has an opinion. Now, in the videos that we watched, the second lady made a statement that Africans do not like Black Americans. In other words, Africans hate Black Americans. And I like the way the third lady debunked that opinion, because the lady said that it is a fact, which is not so. It is never a fact that Africans do not like Black Americans. Africans really love Black Americans. And she used her example, her experiences in Africa to debunk that statement. Look at her experience in the country of Tanzania, when she said she felt like a queen who had returned back to her continent, and also her experience in Ghana, where she felt hospitality at its best, exhibited at its best. And these are the kind of things that you like to expect when you visit Africa. Now, when you visit Africa, certainly you will feel at home. You feel very hospitable. People are very, very welcoming. People like to connect with each other. People are not hostile, just as the lady had wanted to portray in the video. Now, we will watch other videos to learn or know opinions of other Black Americans and what they think about Africans as well. But before we move on to the other videos to know the other opinions, kindly subscribe to this channel. Just locate the subscribe button down there. Click on the subscribe button. Click as well on the notification bell. And also, most importantly, like this video so that YouTube will recommend it to other people on the platform. So let's watch the other videos, then we'll talk after the other videos.
African American and African diaspora debate is nothing but internalized racism. Not all Africans, but most Africans have that internalized racism due to colonization. Literally being taught that there's something wrong with your skin color, which is why skin bleaching is something that's so prominent within Africa, because they've been taught to hate the color of their skin and to hate their culture that they came from. And when you think about it as well, we have those same arguments with other African Americans. Candace Owens is a perfect example of somebody who embodies Internalized racism, literally hating who you are, hating what you look like, and hating the culture, the ethnicity, the race, the nationality that you come from. It's the same thing. So there's no, oh, I'm better. Oh, I'm better. Because in their minds, they think degrading each other and other people who look like them puts them into closer proximity to whiteness, when no matter what, no matter where you go, white people are still going to look at you and they're going to be like, look at this.
I've seen people make videos distancing themselves from African people and referring to themselves as DOS, descendants of slaves, claiming that we share nothing in common with people born in Africa. What a lot of these people that make these videos don't realize is we're playing right into their hands. We're doing exactly what they want us to do, which is remain disconnected and not unified. There's a misconception that Africans were not enslaved in Africa. This is so far from the truth. Colonialists also enslaved Africans in their own land. African people have dealt with Europeans, Arabs, and even Asians coming onto the continent, stealing, pillaging, enslaving, killing, and so much more. Europeans didn't just go to Africa and kidnap our people and take them to the Americas. They also committed atrocities right there on the continent and still continue to do so. We have a lot more in common than they will have you believe. From the food we eat, the music, the art, our hairstyles, our history, and our experiences. We are connected. We all have the same roots. A cop doesn't stop you when you're black and say, hey, are you African, Jamaican, or African American? Quickly, hurry up. Because to them, it won't make a difference. We're all black. So I say this to say there is a disconnect between us, but it wasn't caused by us. Some of us hate each other and don't realize that we've been getting played and used just to keep us separated, to stop us uniting. We are African. We should be proud. We just have to stop listening to those that wish to stop our unity. So forget what you've been told about each other. Forget what you've been taught and what you've been shown, because it's all propaganda to keep us from uniting.
Unity, they say, is strength. As Africans and African Americans or people of black descent, we need to work together in order for us to prosper as a continent. Now, one thing that you need to know as an African American or a person of black descent is that your dignity and respect from other races is tied to the prosperity of the African continent. So you need to always wish the African continent good. If the African continent prospers, that is where the dignity of black people and people of African descent will raise up higher. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video.